What's your "they almost ruined my life and smiled while doing it" story? My older brother Mark has always had this chip on his shoulder about my life versus his. When I got divorced 3 years ago, the judge awarded me primary custody of my kids, Emma and Jake. Mark's ex-wife had taken their 2 kids and moved to Oregon after their divorce, and he only gets them summers and holidays. Mark was always making these comments like, "Must be nice having an ex who doesn't fight dirty," or "Some judges actually care about keeping families together, I guess." It stung because my ex-husband Tom was a functioning alcoholic who'd disappear for days during benders. Tom's third rehab stint, I was finally getting my life back on track. Single mom, working weekend double shifts at the hospital to pay rent. When Mark offered to watch Emma and Jake for free, I thought he was finally being supportive. I was so desperate for help and couldn't afford childcare. This is where it gets sick. For 6 months, Mark was systematically brainwashing my kids. He'd take pictures of Emma's normal playground scrapes, then show them to her later saying, "Remember when mommy did this?" He taught Jake to repeat stories about me, leaving them alone all night, when I was literally just working my scheduled 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. shifts. The CPS visit was a nightmare. This stern-faced caseworker, Janet, showed up at my door on a Tuesday morning. Someone had been calling them for weeks with detailed reports about my abuse and neglect. When Janet interviewed my kids separately, Emma said I pushed her down the stairs. Jake said I never fed them dinner and left them alone in the dark. I watched my whole world crumble. They took my babies that afternoon while I sobbed in my doorway. Mark showed up an hour later with this fake concerned expression, offering to take temporary custody since he was family. The next 14 months were absolute hell. Court dates, supervised visits, therapy sessions where my own kids flinched when I tried to hug them. Jake started calling Mark daddy, and Emma would ask why I hurt her when I'd never laid a hand on my children. My lawyer cost me $80,000 I didn't have. Meanwhile, Mark was playing the hero uncle stepping up for his troubled sister's kids. The breakthrough came during a routine interview. Janet was asking Mark about my living situation, and he mentioned how my kitchen had that broken tile by the sink that's a safety hazard. But here's the thing, that tile broke after CPS took my kids. It was never in any official report. The only way Mark could know about it was if he'd been in my house recently. Janet started digging deeper. She found inconsistencies in Mark's statements, coached responses from my kids, and even discovered he'd been researching CPS procedures online for months before making the first call. Turns out, coaching children to make false allegations to government agencies is a federal crime. Mark got 6 years for child endangerment, filing false reports, conspiracy. My kids needed months of therapy to undo the psychological damage. My parents think I'm vindictive for pressing charges instead of keeping it in the family. But Mark stole 14 months of my children's lives and nearly destroyed our bond forever. He deserved every single day he got.